Hi Libra, welcome to Unseen Hands Healing. I'm Amanda. This is going to be your reading for the rest of July 2019, starting at the time of the lunar eclipse in Capricorn. So here we have the precipice, also known as the Hanged Man. We see a person tied up, bound in ropes, suspended from Neptune here. Okay, Neptune meaning the soul, the etheric, more nebulous aspects of ourselves, of who we are, of why we're here, of what our purpose is. So it's that Neptune that is suspending you here above what looks to be this vortex below. It's almost like, leading up to this Capricorn eclipse, my experience of this, and I'm a very Libran human, I have very heavy Libra placements in my chart. My experience of this has been a real shift in the fabric of reality, almost, visually perception, like a shift in perspective, or a shift in perception is more accurate to say. So you may be experiencing this feeling of limbo. You may be experiencing the feeling that the very nature of reality as you've come to know it is shifting. You're not alone in that, and if you are experiencing that bizarre sensation and it is ungrounding you or making you feel strange in some way, you are not alone, and you are tuned in with this energy that is shifting leading up to the eclipse on the 16th of July, by the way. Okay, so here we have you in this moment of suspended animation, almost like looking at this vortex of your life. Probably, Mercury's in retrograde. You're probably also reflecting on a lot of things. Maybe some things from the past are starting to come up and like swirl before your vision again. They're here for you to reflect on, for you to revisit, for you to see in a different light, from a different angle. Sometimes this card is depicted as someone hanging upside down from their foot. And so it really is that like blood rush to the head shift in perspective in order to gain enlightenment, in order to have this blast of realization, which, I think is coming, Libra. It may feel like it's not. It may feel like you're just like stuck in this like viscous slow-mo forever and ever, and you're not going to be. There's some sort of revelation coming here, and this is the Ace of Vessels, Ace of Cups. Ace of Cups is a new beginning emotionally, and a very emotional new beginning. This could be emotional regarding love or romance or something like that, but regardless, what it is it's a new start for your heart. What I'm seeing here for you, Libra, is I'm being really drawn to the journey. Do you see how the person inside this cup, right down here, is just this like tiny little being surrounded by all of this nature? There's like fire coming in from heaven. There's the vast stars and clouds in the skies. There's water down below and earth. There's mountains in the distance. There's trees. It's like all of the elements are present here, and this person is just one tiny part of such a larger world. So I'm getting feelings of like opening horizons, expansive, really that shift in perspective, leading you to truly feel how small you are on the vast scheme of the cosmos and the vast scheme of the world, the earth and beyond. And that is going to happen through your heart space here with the Ace of Vessels. So I'm also getting with this card like your cup being full. I do think that your cup is going to be filled, is going to be full. Your heart is going to be full in a really good way on the other side of this suspended animation. And And then you're going to start to build. Here we have the Student of Stones. This is the Page of Earth, or the Page of Pentacles. We see someone has eaten of the fruit, okay? Eating of the fruit, eating of the fruit of the tree of knowledge of good and evil. This is being willing to go on that journey, almost into this vortex, to shift your perspective. And once you have eaten of the fruit, your perspective is forever altered. And that's what I'm feeling here. And again, I saw the shift in perspective here of realizing you're just this tiny part of a larger whole. You are one element of many. And I'm seeing that here. Once you bite this fruit, you get this shift in perspective, and it really changes everything. I think it changes what you want to build and how you want to build it. Because here with the Student of Stones, the message that I got here was placing the first stone. And notice how the other stones are like gray or different colors. This one is red. And it's the same color as the pomegranate. So it's like once you've eaten the fruit, it changes what you want to build. It changes the color of which stone you're going to reach for. I know I'm speaking very metaphorically, but it's because this could really apply to anything in your life. Once you have eaten of the fruit, so to speak, once your perspective is forever altered, that is going to color differently your workspace, the life you want to build for yourself, and the materials you're going to choose to build it with. You know, we have the Ace of Cups here, so this very much could be also regarding relationships and love. It changes which thing you choose, which stone you choose as your cornerstone. Because this really is, you know, I said place the first stone. And I'm getting the image of building something, and first you have to place that. You have to know where that cornerstone is going to be, that thing that's going to hold it all together, before you can build anything else. I think you're shifting your plans here, Libra. Let's see what else we can get for you. What else we can get for Libra? Yeah, talk about it. Death, right? This is, again, speaking in metaphor here with the Death card. The Death card is a symbol for transformation. It's a symbol for, you know, we have the skull here, that decomposition that comes in and through the process of eating away of the flesh, eating away of what has died, what has perished, it nourishes the soil below, and suddenly we have this massive flower, again, red, that deep red, blooming. It feels really powerful. It feels, frankly, really sexy to me. I am definitely getting a love vibe here for somebody. But you know what? Feelings of like sexiness and romance can absolutely be applied to any aspect of your life. It could be applied to a house that you inhabit. You know, it could be applied to your job or your quest for a new skill. So it's not just romance, but romance is certainly present here for you, Libra. So this is also this Death card is really bookending this shift in perspective, the shift in perspective that helps you reflect on your past and forever alters your view of the world moving forward, is what allows you to truly decompose the old in order to transform into something entirely new. This is like placing the first stone. This is what you're blooming into here. This is really beautiful, Libra. It's very exciting. And also you notice like the petals, what I'm seeing is real abundance here, because with this flower, the layers of the petals are so vast and so many that the flower is in this constant state of shedding the outer petals, shedding what it no longer needs because it's just making more. I'm getting this sort of like infinity bloom image where it's just like continuously blooming from the inside. And so part of that blooming from the inside process is you can't just like hold the outside container and keep blooming because it's going to get packed really quickly and then it's all going to blow. So as you continue to make new petals from the inside, the outer petals have to shed in order to make room for that flower to constantly change and constantly evolve. And so I think that like constant evolution and constant flexibility is something that's going to be really, really part of what you are building moving forward. And I think it's going to be a really important lesson for you, Libra, to sort of go with that flow process, go with that shedding process. Keep your perspective. Keep that perspective that the forces that are moving around you are so great. I just saw 1111. The forces that are moving around you are so much greater than you. Let nature do what nature does. Okay, what else can we get for Libra here? We have the Traveler of Knives. The Traveler of Knives, this is also the Knight of Swords, for those of you into the traditional depictions of these cards. Here we have a chain between the brain and the heart. And the heart has a knife in it. And the heart is floating here in a tumultuous sea with a message in a bottle and a broken jar. It's like a broken... I can't tell what I'm getting with that. I think it's the shell of what the heart was in. See that? It's like the shell of what contained the heart has been broken open. And in that breaking open process, it's like a knife is in the heart, and it feels to me like the knife is sort of running the show here for you in this reading, in this moment. Notice how the mouth has the chain in between the teeth and we can't talk, you know, if you have that chain in between your teeth. So with this card, I get a lot of like the feelings of bouncing back and forth between the head and the heart and the head and the heart and the head and the heart. And the problem is, if this heart has this knife in it, the heart has this wound. And the heart is in this tumultuous sea. It's hard for the messages to get across, but there's a feeling of chomping at the bit to get a message across, and that is very much the traditional energy of this card, is like fast communication. So there's something that wants to be communicated here, perhaps, you know, because it's coming out underneath the precipice card. Whatever perspective you gain from this time of limbo, of suspended animation, perhaps it's something that you can truly, very clearly see the dynamics between your head and your heart, and you can see the sword in your heart now, and you really want to communicate that, but it's like the chain itself between your head and your heart sort of stops you from being able to communicate. I feel like we need a little bit more clarity here, so I'm just going to keep pulling. This feels like, okay, so when I said that with a precipice, it feels like you're looking at like the past swirling up at you, the past being like the ways that you have been hurt in the past, the knives that are kind of still in your heart. Once this shell of the heart cracked open, suddenly you can see the knife really clearly, and it can be removed carefully. And I'm also getting past energy here with the base of the brain. See that? Right here, that part is sort of highlighted in this card because it looks different from the rest of the brain. It's that base of the skull, what some people call that reptilian brain, which feels like it's very much hearkening to the past. You know, past mental emotional patterns that perhaps have been inherited. I just saw 1515. Okay. Which is interesting. 15, 15, 5 plus 1 is 6. 6 plus 6 is 12, and that's the number of this card, the precipice. So I really do think this moment of suspended animation is here with potential for you to review patterns from the past that affect your heart, that are still kind of in your heart. Patterns from your own past, patterns from the past of the people you come from, that you hold. Yeah, and the ways that affects your communication. But let's see if we can get some more clarity here for you, Libra. I think I just saw your card, Justice. Okay. We have Strength. This is someone going into the cave, going into the dark of the cave willingly, and saying, I'm going to face this darkness that I fear. I'm not going to avoid the cave. I'm not going to avoid the depths. I'm going in. I'm going to spend the night here, and I'm going in alone, and I'm going to build a fire, and I'm going to set up camp here. So it's almost like going into these places in the past that are the places of hurt, to understand why that knife is in the heart. You've got to go into the source. I'm getting an image of a womb with the cave, cave being a metaphor for the womb, going into the depths of where you come from, and in order to face the darkness that is there. And all the darkness is the things that you push away because you're scared, push away because you don't want to face them. Build a fire in there and light it up. Illuminate the walls of that cave and see the writings on the walls. See where your ancestors have been and their experiences and what they have been through in order for you to understand yourself. And that's coming out right under this Ace of Vessels, which I really felt was like you recognizing your place in the larger scheme of things, and that perspective lying inside of your heart that allows for a new beginning. All right, so we're getting some sort of clear picture here. This is pretty zoomed out so far, Libra. Oh my gosh. The King of Wands has come up in probably 10 out of 12 of all 12 readings here. Pretty wild. Okay, here in this deck, it's called the Architect of Branches. Again, you're going into the cave, into that darkness, to light a fire. And what do we have here? See the pair of eyes peeking out from underneath? Because it's like the sort of, fantastic beasts that you discover in that cave that you have perhaps been afraid to face, been afraid to look in the eye. Those eyes peering out of you, almost calling to you. Here they are. And you're going to be able to see them clearly for what they are, and then light fire to what you no longer need to hold in your heart. With this card, during these readings at this time, I've been getting images of like smoking it out, smoke something out here in order to move forward. So what's also interesting about this Architect of Branches, we have a builder here. We have the builder right underneath the student. So the builder, the architect, this King of Wands energy is a trailblazer. This is the person that blazes literally a trail through the forest that's entirely new. You know, if you have to blaze a trail, it's because you have to set fire to something that is like grown in. You are forging an entirely new path. So that's also the energy I felt with this student of stones. It's like the kinds and color of the stones that you're going to choose are different because you have eaten of the fruit. Because you have eaten of the fruit and decided to go down into that cave to discover the knowledge. Now, coming back up to the surface, your ideas of materials to choose to build this new life with have changed. And so that like what you discover down there in the dark and what you end up burning away and what you end up taking with you is going to color your choices moving forward in terms of really practically here in the 3D what you're going to build and maybe who you are going to build with. Okay, another card for Libra here. Yay, what a lovely card to end on, the Student of Vessels. So here we have a person offering their heart in this jar, in this container. A mer person, all right, someone that goes down into, can swim down into the depths of the cave, can navigate the emotional waves because they have the fish's tail to be able to do that. They have the equipment to do that. So this is very like, and there's also a crescent moon in the background. The crescent moon is that intuition. It's that intuitive knowing that you gain from going down into the depths. You can now trust yourself. You can trust your inner whispers, specifically regarding the way you offer your heart to other people. You know, the Student of Vessels, this is, students are learning their element. You know, here you're learning the element of earth, what you want to build with and how you want to build. Here you are learning the element of water. You are learning how to communicate your emotions. Because here with the Traveler of Knives, travelers are about action. They're about movement. You want forward movement when it comes to communication here. You want forward movement when it comes to these knives in your heart and the ways that you communicate with others. And after this shift in perspective, after going down and really doing that like past work, that ancestral work, and understanding yourself and where you come from and getting this totally different perspective on where you fit in the larger scheme of things and how that affects your emotional heart. Transforming, really. Now, you want to communicate in a different way. And I think you want to communicate very strongly here. You want to build something totally different that's really vibrant in color, and you want to offer your heart, communicate your heart in a way that's safe, because here we have the heart in a nice, you know, here we have the vessel that contained the heart being broken open, and the poor open red beating heart is here on the rough seas. And here we have that heart whole, no knives in the heart, safely contained in an open container. It doesn't have a lid on it, right? It's an open container, but it is a container being offered very specifically. Being offered in a way that comes from your intuition, comes from it's like this crescent moon is guiding the way you offer your heart. So honestly, Libra, you know, this is sort of a zoomed out reading and could apply to you in a lot of different ways, in a lot of different areas of your life. And we will, you know, move on here now and get some clarity from some other decks so that we can hone in on more specifically what this is talking about for those of you who will join me in the extended. But before we do that, I just want to summarize here. The crux of this whole thing is a shift in perspective, a massive shift in perspective for you based on seeing your past, seeing the ways that seeing your past in a new light and allowing that to transform the way you communicate and inhabit your heart in the present. And yeah, that's going to offer the potential for a new beginning in your relationships, existing or perhaps entirely new relationships. Because if your perspective is shifting within and the way you communicate and handle your emotions is transforming in a massive way, then what is present for you here is an entirely new way of relating to other people, an entirely new way of building, an entirely new way of loving. New love is definitely on this table for some of you. And for all of you, there is fresh starts when it comes to your emotional, intuitive heart space. It's very exciting. Okay, Libra, so I am going to take this now into the extended and get lots more details, get some oracle cards, get some advice here. So if you are interested, if this is resonating with you so far and you're interested in diving deeper, find the link in the description box to follow me over to Patreon to see your options for moving forward with the extended video. If not, if this is where I leave you, thank you so much for joining me. Please do click that like button. You may have heard that the Instagram one too, but the YouTube algorithm has shifted. And so with that, it's affecting creators in pretty palpable ways. And so it helps us out if you just click that like button, actually actively do that for us. That's super helpful to get this video out to those who might need to see it. Also, I would love it if you left a comment, because I want to hear how this is resonating for you. And so let's connect in that way. If you're interested in a personal reading, the link for that is below as well. And I wish you the best of luck moving into this Capricorn lunar eclipse and the rest of July, which proves, which I think for all of us is going to be a very intense month. So go easy on yourself. Take it easy as you do these deep dives, and just recognize that if you feel very strange, it's okay, because your perspective is shifting. The fabric of everything you've known to be true inside and outside of you is in flux, and it will settle in, and you will know moving forward where to place the first stone in building something new. All right, my friend, thanks for joining me. Take care of yourself. I'll talk to you soon.